This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
For the first time since its inception, members of the St. Louis Detention Facility Oversight Board met with detainees at the City Justice Center. And tonight, members of that committee are calling out City Hall. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. This was the second time members of the committee have been allowed inside the jail. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki spoke with members of the board moments after they left the facility. He joins us live outside the City Justice Center. Holden.
Well, Mike, Kelly, there are currently just under 700 detainees inside the facility that you see behind me, and members of the board actually wanted some insight on what the city could do to better serve them. However, they may have walked away with more questions than answers.
It's a day that Daryl Gray says he and members of the Detention Facility Oversight Board have been working towards for over 2 years.
Our board had finally got an opportunity to meet face-to-face with the detainees.
However, moments after their tour ended, Gray admitted it didn't exactly go as planned when they requested meetings with leaders of the jail's 5 wings.
Today we were able to meet only with one. We didn't get an explanation as to why only one, but our request was for 5.
The detainees shared concerns about food, medical access, and cleanliness of each unit inside the jail, but members of the committee say the complaint system needs to be fixed first.
And we came to realize that we've got to do a better job in explaining to lawyers how their clients can make complaints.
The people who the program is supposed to benefit don't know about it.
Of larger concern to members of the Oversight Committee was the presence of 2 city attorneys at the meeting.
What is occurring within this jail that makes it necessary to have 2 city lawyers in a meeting to talk to one inmate?
We didn't ask for an attorney to be there. I doubt seriously if they were there to represent us.
This administration seems to be trying to hide more than it's trying to expose as far as transparency.
That's why Alderman Rasheed Aldridge says he's pushing for legislation, giving the committee more power.
We want transparency, as Reverend Gray said. We want to work with the commissioner, but sometimes we have to put things in ordinance to make it very clear. Only way that we're going to get transparency and oversight is through legislation.
If you ask me, do I think that the city wants oversight? No. No. Just a simple no.
A spokesperson for Mayor Tashara Jones sent me a statement stating that she remains committed to both transparency and oversight at the City Justice Center, adding that members of the board will now have more access now that they have received the proper training. Reporting live downtown, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
St. Louis City is upgrading its outdoor warning siren system. The system hasn't been updated in decades. Emergency management tells us there have also been some inconsistencies when testing the sirens. Right now, the city is accepting bids from contractors.
Now to our Weather First forecast. Things are quiet right now, but we are having a weather alert day tomorrow, so let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo. Jim?
Yeah, so the severe weather chances we'll be watching, especially Friday and again on Sunday. But, you know, right now, you notice how low that dew point is. Dry air's in place. Clouds have moved in at 62, but look at the satellite radar shot and the lightning added to that. So it's western Missouri, Kansas City, and southwest Missouri. Even some flash flood warnings around Springfield at this point in time. Now, as it moves into that drier air, we're finally starting to see some rain around Rolla all the way down to Centerville, but this is subsevere. Tomorrow is when we're watching for the possibility of severe weather, but wanted to point out this orange area here, Kansas City, where more numerous severe weather is expected there. And then there's a hatched area where there's a better likelihood of seeing tornadoes in that region. Now for us, there is a severe weather risk. It's just like a shower activity as we get into tonight, but tomorrow morning we could see some thunderstorms in here, and hail would be the biggest threat tomorrow morning. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll talk about tomorrow evening and also Saturday and Sunday in just a few minutes.
And get your Weather First forecast on your phone. For a link, text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
The state rested its case in the Thomas Kinworthy trial today. Now the jury is hearing from the defense. Kinworthy is charged with killing St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon in 2020. He's pleaded not guilty by reason of mental defect. Today, the defense called up a forensic psychologist as a witness. She diagnosed Kinworthy with schizoaffective disorder.
It's a high bar to meet, so it's not a typical. It's more common to find somebody who doesn't meet the standard than does.
The jury will hear from a rebuttal witness from the prosecution who does not believe Kinworthy suffers from mental illness. The trial is scheduled to last until May 3rd, but it's running ahead of schedule, and we'll continue to bring you updates on air on the 5 on Your Side app and on KSDK.com.
Today, a former Eureka High School custodian was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Robert Smith was arrested in 2022. Earlier this month, he pleaded guilty to molesting a child with special needs. Both prosecutors and his attorneys agreed to the 3-year sentence.
A 15-year-old boy is dead after crashing a car in South St. Louis. This happened last night near Gravois and Neosho. Police say the teen was speeding. He had a 16-year-old passenger with him. Police say the teen swerved to avoid crashing into another car, lost control before hitting a fire hydrant and a building. The boy who died has been identified as Brian Corona Madrigal. The 16-year-old passenger is in the hospital and is expected to survive.
Tonight, investigators know where the fire started at a Wentzville apartment complex, but are trying to determine how it started. 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan learned this type of fire has become a recurring problem in St. Charles County.
Nearly a dozen people are out of their homes tonight after a fire erupted here at Pineview Apartments in Wentzville just before 3 a.m. This is the second apartment complex fire in St. Charles County in the past 2 weeks. The Wentzville Fire Protection District says the wind was a big challenge, battling the heavy flames on St. Charles Street, just one street over from Wentzville Middle School. Investigators say the fire started on a second-floor balcony in the back, but the actual cause is under investigation. Thankfully, no residents were injured, but 3 pets died in the fire. There was another fire last week at an apartment complex in O'Fallon on Apple Rock Drive, where investigators say it also started on a balcony. Fire Chief Stephen Mosier emphasized that this is an older building and wants this to be a safety reminder for people when you're enjoying the weather on your balcony or deck.
Balcony fires are an issue. In the newer style apartments, there's a sprinkler head on the balcony, but in the older balconies, there may not be. Just be very conscientious of what you're doing, and if you are, have a candle or a cigarette or grilling, just don't leave it unattended.
The American Red Cross is helping relocate the displaced residents. The landlords at Pineview Apartments are also working to organize how people can donate to their residents. Reporting in Wentzville, Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
Coming up, a man dies during an arrest in Ohio. What body camera video reveals about the moments before his death?
From cleaning to cooking, Consumer Reports shares some deals to save you money.
Hey everyone, Michelle Lee here. Car thefts continue to be a problem across the metro, especially for Kia and Hyundai owners. We're going to tell you where you can get some free anti-theft software this weekend. Plus, there's plenty of fun family stuff to do this weekend, including the Greater St. Louis Marathon, the new location for the big race, and the street closures that you need to know. That is Friday on Today in St. Louis, starting at 4 a.m.